You know this one. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Second part. Yai dai yai dai dai dai. Yai dai yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Yai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai, dai 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 dai, yai dai, dai dai, yai dai dai, dai 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 dai. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. That is the Carla Bach tune, Return Again. We're not quite ready for the words yet. We're not quite yet close enough to the coming of the new year. Although after next Shabbat, we will come together for Slichot and we will sing the words and we will begin our active preparation for the days of awe. It's so good to see all of you. As you may hear from my voice, I am experiencing a little, a little something. I will let you know in the interest of full disclosure, I have tested negative multiple times for COVID. And but out of abundance of caution, I'm wearing a mask and I will be limiting my contact after the service, which makes me sad because I'd love to chat with all of you. But I will lead us in Kiddush and Motzi and then leave you to socialize with one another, and I will maintain my safe distance. It's good to have everyone here in the sanctuary at 5200 Old Mill Road, and those of you who are joining us online from wherever you are. Together, we are one holy community in this beautiful month of Elul as we begin our journey to the new year. Let us continue on page 128. Page 128. And by the way, I invite you to sing robustly tonight because I'll be singing a little less robustly. All right. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achyot gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achyot gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achyot gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achyot gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achyot gam yachad. How good it is, all of us, to be together tonight to welcome in Shabbat. Let us continue on page 125. Page 125. Let us read together. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away, On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. As we prepare to enter into Shabbat together, I think this reading gives us good advice. On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. Let us think for a moment for those things that we want to keep as long as we can before they drift away. Something wonderful that happened to you this week. Merely okay is fine too, if that's how you're calibrated. Something, a conversation, a gift, something very satisfying at work or in a hobby, and something that you put your energy into. Something that is your blessing on this Shabbat. And now on the Shabbat, let us look at the burdens that we must return, but we can be free of them for Shabbat. Something that didn't go so well. Conversation, a bad conversation with someone you love, bad conversation with someone you don't love, minor traffic accident, a little anxiety now that COVID numbers are kind of starting to move a little bit. Whatever it is for you, find that burden and set it aside for this coming Shabbat, and look back at that blessing and embrace it and bring it close to you, and let that carry you into Shabbat. I would like to invite the sisters-in-law Zellman, that is Mimi and Fran Zellman. Mimi lives here. Fran does. We'll find out where she is here from. They will be lighting the Shabbat candles for us, and we will find the blessing on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Ooh, I'm really loud, guys. It's the mask. Sorry. Thank you, Fran and Mimi. So Fran, where are you from? Chicago. All right. Well, that means you could come back a lot because we're not that far. It's good to have you with us. Let us turn now to page 131. Not page 131, page 133. Actually, we'll start on the bottom of page 132. I will sing this selection from Psalm 97. You may recognize it from, I don't know, some services we'll be having soon, and then we will continue with the English reading of the psalm on the top of page 133. Ozaru ala tzadik, u'yishrei lev simcha. 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 Together, Adonai is sovereign. Let the earth exult, the many islands rejoice. Dense clouds are around God. Righteousness and justice are the base of God's throne. O you who love Adonai, hate evil, God guards the lives of God's loyal ones, saving them from the hands of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. Shabbat Shalom. Let us continue on page 142 with the words of Lecha Dodi. It's not 142, excuse me. It is 138. We will sing together verses 1, 5, and 9, and when we rise, we will face the open, when we get to verse 9, we will rise, we will face the open door, and you have a choice to decide what it is you're doing. Option A is you will be greeting the Shabbos bride, the beloved person who symbolizes our glorious reunion with Shabbat. Or you can use that open door to send out your Shabbat joy into the world so that it can go wherever more joy is needed. Up to you. All right, we will sing together at the top of page 138. Lecha dodi likra kala yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likra kala yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Ishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shemu tiferet belitila. Lecha dodi likra kala yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likra kala yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Hitoreri, kiva ore kumi ori. Uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likra kala, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likra kala, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. O'i v'shalom materet bala, gam besimcha uvetzola, toch emunei am segula, boi kala, lecha dodi likra kala, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likra kala, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Take a moment and greet someone, maybe someone you didn't arrive with. And please also be sure to turn and face the back, the camera over the door in the middle there, and say hello, greet those who are joining us online. Together, wherever we are seated, we are one holy community. And speaking of seated, you may be seated. Let us turn now to page 142. We'll join together to sing Shalom Alechem, the song that greets the Shabbos angels. Now, I said we'll join together to sing this song. I really mean it tonight. So if you'd sing out robustly, I'd be grateful, and y'all know it, right? So anyway, Shalom Alechem. Shalom Alechem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedzachem. Now you, all you. Tzedzachem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Okay, that was very nice. I'm going to remember that. Let us now turn to page 144, and we will join together in the singing of Chatzi Kaddish, one of the several times whenever we come together to pray, we sing this prayer of basically praising God's great name. And we have all sorts of different places and times when we sing this prayer. It's a Kaddish. We sing this version when we come to the end of Kabbalat Shabbat. We sing another version when we are about to say, when we're remembering those who are no longer with us. We say a different version when we are coming to other transitions and services, especially on Saturday mornings here. There are multiple versions of this Kaddish, but they all come together around the exclamation of God's holy name and God's compassion to us. We will join together on page 144 with Chatzi Kaddish, and we will continue immediately into page 146 for Baruch Hu. Please rise as you are able. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'elmad yivrach yirutei ve'yamlik malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei kol beit Yisrael, bagala u'vizman kariv v'imeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam u'al me'al maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitnoram v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imeru, amen. Yai la 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 yai la yai la la, yai la 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 yai la yai la la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 yai la yai la la, yai la 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 yai la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la, yai la la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Let us now turn together to page 149, 149. And let us join together at the top of the page in this blessing for the arrival of evening, coming a little earlier each night as we get closer to, I don't know, that really cold time in December, but perhaps more urgently as we get closer and closer to the new month of Tishrei. And you know what happens then. Let us join together at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hamariv aravim. Did anyone see that amazing moon this week? So it was a blue moon, which I think means it was like the second moon in a month. And it was unusually bright. And I don't know if it was actually closer to us or it just appeared closer to us, but it was just amazing. And I think that when we recognize the blessing of the arrival of evening, it is only then when we can have the beauty of creation be visible to us in such a magnificent way, like it was when we enjoyed that beautiful blue moon this week. Let us turn now together to page 151. And let us read together at the top of the page. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. Let us turn the page, and please rise as you are able for Shema. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Please turn the page. Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitztavecha hayom alevavevcha Veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam Beshivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha vaderech uveshoktecha uvekumecha ukshartam leot ayadecha v'hayu letotafot beinecha uchtabtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. We continue on page 158. Page 158. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך. בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה ליאנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. Let us turn together to page 161. And together in a moment, we are going to be blessing the Sukkot Shalom, the Sukkah, the shelter of peace. That is making reference to perhaps a physical shelter, because we are always just, one step away from our story in Torah, where that was how our people were living night to night, maybe a few days, a few weeks at a time in one place, but always in their temporary shelters. But I think this prayer is also about God's shelter of us. And last week and the week before, we were invited to think about trees, because our campus has a lot of very mature trees, and to look up and see those leaves high above us as a shelter of peace. But I'm also thinking about children. And I don't know, either in your lifetime as a child or a child in your life, in your home, has there ever been a time when they would build a fort or a tent, take chairs or boxes and blankets and I don't know, whatever materials inspire them to make some kind of temporary structure? Maybe they'd camp out in the living room. Maybe they'd sleep there for a couple of days. But the making of their own structure. And I imagine a child, through their own creativity, making their own sukkah, their own place to dwell, and feeling great satisfaction and perhaps great peace at being able to do something that makes them so happy, the way only children can be. Let us join together at the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Israel, ve'al Yerushalayim. Let's turn now to page 164. 164. In a moment, we will begin to pray the Amidah, which means the standing prayer. And we will pray together on 164 and the even pages through page 170. And then we will spend some time in private, silent prayer on any of the pages you want or in the prayers of your heart. Let us take a moment of preparation. Please rise as you are able. Page 164. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agite hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora, El Elyon, Golmel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Gula Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atagi bor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech olim, Umatir asurim, Mekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Let us continue on page 180, the bottom of the page. Let us pray together for peace in this world. There are so many places that need it. Tallahassee, Florida, Ukraine, Russia, the mall here in Fort Wayne. Ose shalom bimroma, Uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Imeru, amen. Let us turn together to page 371, 371. We have come to the time when we pray for those who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit, and we pray for caregivers as well. I will read our community's Misha Barak list and then invite you to share the names of those for whom you are praying. On the Shabbat, we pray for the healing of Ruth Bloom, Andrew Bosell, Pirka Batbracha, Adrienne Breitman, Todd Craigo, Janet Finkel, Doris Fogel, Barb Gilbert, Ronnie Greenberg, Bob Hochberg, Cookie Mastbaum, Laura Michaels, Kaylin Nagel, Tom O'Neill, Debbie Charay, Gary Smythe. And to these names we add for all these names and the names in our heart. Let us join together in a Misha Barak for healing in the middle of page 371. Misha Barak Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This week, we read the 50th of 54 Torah portions as the story of the Israelites moves to the culmination of their journey through the wilderness under Moses' leadership and his care. Hitavo means when you enter the land, is what they're talking about. And this parasha, speaking of land, covers a lot of ground. I promise that will be the only bad pun. The Israelites are instructed to express their gratitude to God for their bountiful harvests and freedom from slavery by tithing 10% of their crops for the Levite, the stranger, the orphan, and the widow. And the people are told to display on large stones God's commandments for all to see. And the Levites are to proclaim curses upon those who violate God's commandments. And the Israelites are told that if they obey God's mitzvot faithfully, they will receive every blessing imaginable. They are also told that if they do not fulfill their brit with God, many curses will descend upon them. Moses reminds the Israelites of the miracles they witnessed in the wilderness and commands them to observe the terms of the covenant so that they may succeed in all they undertake. Excuse me. This Shabbat, I am especially drawn to these verses in Deuteronomy chapter 27. V'yedaber Moshe v'hakohanim haleviim el kol Yisrael lemor hasket u'shama Yisrael hayom hazeh niheita lam la'Adonai Elohecha. Thank you. Moses and the Levitical priests spoke to all of Israel, saying, "Silence! Hear, O Israel, today you have become the people of your God. Heed your God and observe the divine commandments and laws which I enjoin upon you this day." And then 2 chapters later, we read, Moses summoned all Israel and said to them, "You have seen all that Adonai did before your very eyes in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all his courtiers and to his whole country, the wondrous feats that you saw with your own eyes, those prodigious signs and marvels. Yet to this day, Adonai has not given you a mind to understand, or eyes to see, or ears to hear. I led you through this wilderness 40 years. The clothes on your back did not wear out, nor did the sandals on your feet. You had no bread to eat and no wine or other intoxicant to drink, that you might know that I, Adonai, am your God. Of these verses, Rabbi Michael Barclay writes, the 13th century mystic Rumi, not Jewish, taught, mysteries are not meant to be solved. The eye goes blind when it only wants to see why. This Torah portion reminds us that our senses are not only for understanding the physical world, but also for deepening our spiritual relationship with God. As we approach Rosh Hashanah, it is crucial to remember this teaching. All year, we easily forget what is important and get caught up in our physical experience. What we see or hear distracts us, keeping us in a cycle of concern only about physical needs and passions. Mortgages, school, finances, and the like become our focus. We pay attention to distractions that we see rather than remembering that sight itself is miraculous. We focus on the music instead of being in awe that God created humans with musical talent. This passage reminds us to step back for a moment, to reevaluate our lives, and to remember the purpose of our souls. This cheshbon hanefesh, that is accounting of the soul, is essential work as we approach the tasks of the days of awe. To model what this work can look like, I will share a poem that I found today. It's entitled Gratitude. It is written by the well-known, prestigious poet Mary Oliver. What did you notice? The dew snail, the low flying sparrow, the bat on the wind in the dark, big chested geese in the V of sleekest performance, the soft toad patient in the hot sand, the sweet hungry ants, the uproar of mice in the empty house, the tin music of the cricket's body, the blouse of the goldenrod. What did you hear? The thrush greeting the morning, the little blue birds in their hot box, the salty talk of the wren, then the deep cup of the hour of silence. When did you admire the oaks letting down their dark and hairy fruit, the carrot rising in its elongated waist, the onion sheet after sheet curved inward to the pale green wand? At the end of summer, the brassy dust, the almost liquid beauty of the flowers, then the ferns scrawled black by the frost. What astonished you? The swallows making their dip and turn over the water. What would you like to see again? My dog, her energy and exuberance, her willingness, her language beyond all nimbleness of tongue, her recklessness, her loyalty, her sweetness, her strong legs, her curled black lip, her snap. What was most tender? Queen Anne's lace with its parsnip root, the everlasting in its bonnets of wool, the kinks and turns of the Tupelo's body, the tall, lank banks of sand, the clam clamped down. What was most wonderful? The sea and its wide shoulders, the sea and its triangles, the sea lying back in its long athlete's spine. What did you think was happening? The green beast of the hummingbird, the eye of the pond, the wet face of the lily, the bright puckered knee of the broken oak, the red tulip of the fox's mouth, the upswing, the downpour, the frayed sleeve of the first snow, so the gods shake us from our sleep. May you have a meaningful and reflective month of Elul as you do your Cheshbon HaNefesh, your accounting of your souls, as you look not only for what is wrong and what must be corrected, but what is beautiful. Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to do announcements tonight. It'll be easier. Shabbat Shalom. And we're really glad to have all of you here at the temple or joining us online. And we hope that you have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. And I will express personal gratitude that you are here on the Friday of Labor Day. This tonight is our last early Shabbat service of the season. Beginning next Friday, the 8th of September, our evening services will begin at 7:30 p.m. 7:30 next Friday night and all through the fall and winter. Please join us tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. for Shabbat morning services. They'll be led by Ron Friedman, and I'll be there too. We invite you to stop in the social hall tonight, next door, to see an exhibit by artist Hilary Couture called Unity with Variety that features portraits of people from diverse cultures living here in Fort Wayne, including 3 of our congregants. See if you can find them. Tomorrow is the last day to see the exhibit, so come, I guess after services, so 11:30-ish. And we thank John Tam for chairing the project. I want to say something else about the project. So the idea was to bring this art to our community, to work with the Unitarian Universalist Church next door, which was doing the other half of the exhibition. And we had a wonderful panel discussion with the artist and several of her subjects where they talked about their life experience, where they came from. It was a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And Diana, if that wasn't enough, today, John Tam worked with groups of kids from the Head Start program. They came through to see the exhibit, and they talked a little bit about art, and they talked a little bit about being in other places in the world. And it was a real wonderful moment. So I'm really proud of what our congregation is able to do with our community. Anyway, so take a look at the exhibit. This is your last chance. Thoughtful Thursdays begins its 14th year on Wednesday when our bag assembly team meets at 10 a.m. at the temple. 10 a.m. here on Wednesday to pack bags for Thursday. Families with young children are invited for Joy Vey, a Kiddush Shabbat on Friday, September 8th. That's next Friday at 5:30 p.m. And we will be gathering for apple picking with a potluck picnic on Sunday morning, September 10th. Details are in the handout that you got at the door and on our website. The high holidays are coming very quickly, in case you haven't noticed. Begin the sacred season with us during our Slichot service next Saturday, September 9th at 7:30 p.m. We'll change the Torah covers to white, and we will share meditative prayer and readings. Erev Rosh Hashanah begins on Friday, September 15th. That's right, Rosh Hashanah is on Shabbat this year. Our services will begin at 7:30 p.m. when our Reform and Conservative Minyanim will gather in the sanctuary as one community. We will be joined by Cantor Yael Fishman, and we will have a rousing and beautiful time together as a community as we join together and welcome the new year. There will be our annual New Year's reception immediately following the service. Please check your temple communications for the full schedule. There's a lot. And did anyone say anything about 175th tonight? Oh, not yet. There's a lot of activities related to our 175th anniversary that will be happening later after the High Holy Days. So there's so much to keep track of. So read the stuff we send you. Look at our website. Pay attention to our Facebook page. There's a lot that's going to be happening. We're going to want you to look out for your invitation to RSVP for Break the Fast on Yom Kippur. We need to know how many people are planning to break the fast here so that the Romeos can be ready for our hungry people. We will be doing a holiday food drive, so please look for details about that. And lastly, we appreciate sponsorship donations for the High Holy Days. Whether you make a general contribution for an aliyah or in any other way, and to ensure your name is included in the High Holy Day announcements, if you are so moved, please make your contribution by Tuesday, September 5th. Thank you to Officer Zach for working security tonight, for keeping us safe. Thank you to Mike Rush for ushering. Thank you to Darren for running our streaming tonight. And thank you to Deb Valensky for our delicious challah. Shabbat Shalom. Let us turn now to page 586. We will join together in Aleinu at the bottom of the page, 586. Please rise as you are able. Please rise as you are able. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leyotze breshit, shelo asanu kegoei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama. שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Lovely harmony. You may be seated. We turn together to page 598. We have come to the time when we remember those who have died either recently or in this season in years past. I will read our congregation's Kaddish list and then invite you to share the names of anyone you are remembering so that we may join our prayers with yours. On this Shabbat, we continue the period of Shana, the death within the past year of Adolf Breitman, Yelena Drozdova, Rabbi Richard Safran, Dr. George Meschel, Ann Warpel, Solomon Kramer, Diane Pulaski, Audrey Gerson, B. Siegel, Louise Ruchman-Warschauer, Harriet Krell, Shirley Gerber, Jacqueline K. Weber, and June Schaefer. And this Shabbat marks the Yahrzeit, the anniversary of death of Abe Beck, Claire Beer, Irma Benson, Herbert Berger, Blanche Leiter-Block, Anna Bluestein, Clara Brossler, Gitta Brookman, Dora Buxbaum, Joe Congress, Betty Dubinsky, Alex Feldman, Henry A. Fleck, William Gitlin, Dorothy B. Gold, Henry Grinsfelder, Susan Hakey, Morton F. Haslacher, Robert Johnson, Michael M. Katz, Asher Lechlinder Stoll, Howard Mayer, Rex P. Mercer, Hameen Ockstein, Betty Lehman Pollock, Marion Rodman, Abner Rosenberg, Eugenia Russ, Dorothy R. Salin, Seymour Samet, Marilyn Sachs, Morris Schuster, Alfred Sakin, Abraham Siegel, Steve Weitzman, Nelson W. Williams, Henriette Wolf, Goldie Yaffe. And to these names we add. For all these names and the names in our hearts, the names of those who perished in the Shoah, and the names of those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, please rise as a community for Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'almad yivrach cherotei ve'amlik malchutei, v'chayachon uv'yomachon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, bagala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitnoram v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'yisharata, tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'elma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabbi min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Please be seated. Immediately following the service, we will gather. In the foyer, the lobby, for Kiddush and Motzi, and a chance to view the exhibit if you wish. A chance to visit a little bit, I hope, and so we'll do that immediately following the service. As we prepare to depart our worship service, I'd like to offer the priestly benediction. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav alecha v'chunecha, may God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav alecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God turn toward you and grant you peace. Ken yehi ratzon, may this be God's will. And together we say, Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.